For I know the plans I have for you. Jeremiah 29:11. Stay tuned as we speak on time. All right, welcome back to another episode of Claire here. Thank you guys so much. I want to say this is the last Sunday. I think there's one more. So I just wanted to take time to thank you all for watching the content. I can't believe we have so many avid watchers for Spiritual Sundays. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be speaking about time. I'm going to get right into it. So it'll be 3 parts today. We're going to have the first part is talking about building that foundation, and then we're going to talk about time conversion, basically how you may have asked God now, but in heaven the time conversion is completely different. So we're going to get mathematical, and then we're going to have an overall conclusion about time. I feel like I was called to speak about this topic, so I'm going to tell you a little story. And so back in 2000 and I want to say 5, I know, back in 2005, my parents saved up enough money to buy a brand new house outside of our childhood home. And so they built the foundation, and the foundation took 6 months. The house took 2 years to build because we had the house in 2007, but it took 2 years to build. But you know, they spent 6 months on the foundation. Now, me at the time, a young 13-year-old, I'm sitting here, I'm just like, all right, now wrap this up. But I remember every first Sunday or every second Sunday, our dad would take us all and said, hey, this is where our house is going to be at. And I'm just like, it's just a bunch of wire. It's just dirt. It's dirt. It took 6 months to build that foundation. And every single time it would be little touches here and there to the foundation, but there wasn't movement on the foundation, and it pissed me off. It really pissed me off, really made me upset. And I feel like in that aspect, we have a tendency to rush a lot of our timelines because we're just like, God, we already made the foundation. Like, can you, we have a tendency to do that a lot. And I think the problem is just this, that we don't think long term. At least I'm speaking to myself. We do not think long term. So fast forward, it's the month 6 and finally the foundation's done. Okay. Because to me, I'm just like, dang, like, do y'all need my help? I mean, I am in 8th grade, but I can help y'all. But I just remember looking at the foundation, looking at how sturdy it is and how each month was little fixes, little chisels here and there. And I feel like in the word as well, that we have a tendency that we don't understand. He's trying to build, he don't care about your little timeline. Like I like to say, he doesn't care about your little timeline. He is trying to build a house that's going to outlast everybody that you swear is being built faster than you. That house was built in 2007, and to this day, 2006, almost 20 years later, that house has withstood several hurricanes, several storms. It's kept my parents warm in the winter, cool in the summer, and they've never had any major issues with the house, including the AC unit. Amen. And we need to think that term. Like, I have a tendency where I'm just like, Lord, like, I'm sorry. It's spelled Claire, right? Because sometimes I was like, maybe he sent my blessing to another person's house. Because I know you see me even asking for this. Like, I get it. You want me to have a good foundation for you, give me this blessing. And I feel like we try to rush those steps. That's why whenever you'll see a situation where, at least in my perspective, where I see that there's couples that always break up right after the baby. There's couples that always break up after unemployment. It's because of the fact that you're skipping those key steps to make the foundation solid. Even though it's funny because the foundation took 6 months, even though the house got built in 18 months. Does that make any sense? Like, the entire house, this is a 3-4 bedroom house, vaulted ceilings, huge house. And it got built in 2 years, but 6 of those months, a quarter of that time, was spent building the foundation because they want a house that's going to stand the test of time. And it's the same thing when we sit there and we go and ask God for a blessing and be like, hey, like, it's your girl again. He's like, and I know, stop talking, go pray. Name 3 books in the Bible that start with T. You can't do that. You need to go read me, But I just want you to really know about foundation. The next thing is time conversion. So let's get mathematical. So I have this thing where I will ask for a request, because they said, ask anything of the Lord and he shall give it to you as long as you stay focused on him. And that is Matthew 6:33. There's a song called by it as well. It's beautiful. And there is this tendency that we'll ask for something and we're just like, all right, Lord, I need a all right. And we'll look immediately for it. It's so crazy that we will immediately look for what we ask without thinking, what is a time conversion? So this is just my time conversion theory. I don't know if it's real or not, but it makes sense when I think about it. It's just that 5 minutes in heaven is 1 year on earth and 50 years in hell to me. Because I think about the jobs that it literally felt like it was hell. Okay. It felt like I was not on this planet, like just the mindset of being there. And I look at one of the worst jobs I ever worked at, and this was like fresh out of college, and I was working in retail, and I look back, I was only there for 7 months. Maybe that's symbolic, but I was only at the job for 7 months, and it was the most torturous months of my life. And I look back to how many times I felt like I was, in heaven for a year. It felt like probably 5 minutes in heaven. So this conversion, in my perspective, is how we ask God for what we want, like our request, the request box, right? So think about if you sit there and ask, okay, this is perfect. If you sit there today and ask, hey, Lord, like I've been praying for a house, like I really want a good house. I know the pricing market, you're a God of abundance. Please, Heavenly Father, bless me with a big house, right? You'll ask that question today, and then God will answer you maybe in 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 earth years, right? Or he might answer you in 10 years. You have to understand, when it comes to time conversion, it is not the same, because in heaven, it's just like, oh, well, you only just asked that 5 minutes, so I'll get to you. But on earth, it feels like it has been 2-3 years, and it hasn't even been that time, because I remember I was like, Lord, like, I know you're not giving me this bachelor's degree for me to go and sit here and work at this. I can't even say that. Redact that. For me to sit here and work at this retail store for 7 months. But in God's eyes, he's like, well, you only just asked me that, my daughter. I'm going to give you this in 7 months after you've gone through the character development and humility that I need you to ascertain from the situation you're in. So in that same regard, we need to think of, when we're asking a request, what are we really asking? Another thing too that I have on here with time conversion is just that sometimes we're not really in hell. We need to change our mindset. We need to change our perspective. I can say, to me, I'm the queen of, I let my emotions just drive the car. I'm like, girl, just make sure you stop by Chick-fil-A for snacks. I let her drive sometimes. And it wasn't until I recommitted last year in August that I was like, you have to stop letting your emotions drive and really think about what you're asking, the magnitude of what you're asking, the rarity of what you're asking. And you also need to think about the time as well. There's been times where I'll say in my own self that I asked God. I was like, there's a previous job where, like, there was a boss that was just, she's from somewhere else. I can't even. She's not from here. Just not. The spirit that was torturing her. Just pray for her daily. Just pray for your enemies, okay? And I remember asking him, I was like, I'm going through it. Why are you letting me suffer like this? I asked him in January, and it wasn't till August. 7 months. It wasn't until August that she was relieved of her duties. You have to think about what you're asking, and you have to understand to wait on him. You need to wait on him. I know it's hard. I'm one of his most impatient students. I'm in the front of the class. Hello, I have a question. Why are you letting this happen? I know he's tired of me. But my thing is that you have to think about the time conversion of how long ago did you ask that? How long were you consistent? How long were you obedient for? Because the disobedience will restart that clock all over again. Were you obedient during that time you asked? So my conclusion is Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. There's a time and purpose for everything under heaven. It's one of my top, tippity top. I was like top Bible verses ever. There's at least once or twice during the week while I sit there and I truly meditate on that verse, because there's been too many times where I've sat there and thought, I need to slow down. Okay. At 34 years old, I'm not doing too bad with His grace, but it's just so hard when, it's 5 minutes in heaven, but it's been 1 year on earth. All right. And it feels very long, and it feels like 50 years of hell has passed in that year, so I just feel in that aspect that I need to remind myself that foundation building, and just thinking about looking back at that story, I think about that foundation. I think about the foundation that this house had to set up. Like, my parents' house is 20 years old, and you would think it was brand new. You would think it's brand new. Also, being a steward of your house, being a steward of what you've already been given. And steward, I'm so glad you asked. Think of a stewardess on an airplane. Are they not maintaining the plane? Are they not maintaining the integrity of the customers on the plane? Making sure they're comfortable, making sure they're truly, throughout the flight, hey, I just want to make sure, do you have anything that you need help with, anything you need assistance with? Just truly making sure that everybody on the plane is comfortable. Every time there's a new flight that happens, making sure that the seats are wiped and ready for the next passenger. So are you ready to truly take off and lift off once this prayer gets asked? Because one thing I can say, that 98% of my success is from being a good steward. Is from being a good steward, and also being prepared. I can't sit there and tell you how many times that I have been in a situation where they're just like, hey, Claire, we want to give you an interview this afternoon. Are you ready? Do you have your resume ready? Of course I have my resume ready. I'm ready. I'm a good steward. Okay? I'm a good steward. Steward is also being proactive. You can't sit here and ask God, hey, Lord, it's me again. Can you give me so-and-so? But then He's like, okay, well, someone wants to interview you today. Hey, someone wants to do an open house today. Do you have the finances saved up? You have to think about these things. This is not God is not a genie. You need to be able to understand the time too with the foundation. I stand by, even with this house, I can say that I am so excited about sharing that testimony of the purchase of the house, is that this was not my first choice of a house. It's not my first choice. I definitely was adamant about, I just want to get out of the town. I want to go to this city. I don't care what the house looks like. Just give me the house. But no, He gave me a house that has an excellent foundation, went through several hurricanes, even with, a roof issue and all that. Went through several hurricanes, went through all these things, all of this, and the house is perfect. It's the same thing with the car. I told you guys I didn't have my first car until I was 27. So, that was 27 years of bus riding, 27 years of bumming rides, 27 years of people mocking me for not having a car. Yes, people mock you for not having a car. That's between them and God. I don't got to explain nothing. I forgave them. I gave them to Him. And the reason why this is important is just that the next time you ask for a request from God, first of all, think about the time conversion. All right? If you just asked Him today, you haven't talked to Him, it's just kind of like, I'm sorry, new sheep, who's this? You feel me? Like, who is this sheep? I haven't heard you. Like, I've called you. I tried calling you back, but you haven't replied back since now. But now you want a full catered meal now. There is a story of the prodigal son, get the fattest calf and have this person served compared to someone who's been following this whole time. But there is going to be a probationary period that you need to make sure that you are consistent with the Lord. So He's like, well, I'm going to bless this person regardless, but why should I have higher favor for them when they're not consistent? You can't sit here and say, Lord, I need this, Lord, I need that. But have you been consistent? Because to me, that starts the clock all over again. But don't forget to subscribe, share, It's clear hair.